Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here for a late entry into Travis Planet Bierwagen's um, Amazon wishlist giveaway thing, because I came up with an idea that I thought would be interesting to. Because I came up with an idea that I thought would be interesting for a video response to this particular question, which is a very broad question. It's just name some stuff on your wish list. Talk about your big, wish list item. So I don't really have any huge wish list item on my Amazon wish list, and I have over 700 things on my wish list now. So I was just like, well, what can I do? I narrowed it down. I have come up with my top 10 Amazon wish list items. And that's what I'm going to do for this video today. So, in no certain order. I'm not going to do a, countdown type thing. It's just going to be top 10 willy-nilly, basically. Because I don't want to pick favoritism on anyone more than another. So let's just start with Ghost Rider Season 1. No, not the new movie, The Ghost Rider. I'm talking the old PBS show, Ghost Writer, with the ghost that wrote things in the air, hence the name Ghost Rider. When I was a kid, that was like one of my favorite freaking shows on TV. I loved Ghost Rider. I mean, you can't go wrong. It was just a fantastic show. I really want to get it on DVD while it's still there, because it strikes me as something that won't be there for very long. Um, it's fluctuating between the 20 and like $40 range right now, which is just a little bit out of my price range because I'm a cheapskate and. Next up, Little Shop of Horrors, the 80s musical remake, of course. You can't go wrong with that movie. It's just one of my favorites. It's probably the only musical I could think of where the music gets stuck in my head, and I absolutely love to watch it. And it's just one of my favorites. I'm not really big into musicals, but play me some Little Shop of Horrors, and I'm stuck. You got me. You got me. But I want the version that has the extras. That has like the scene that was edited out, the ending, the alternate ending, I believe it was. And apparently there's like only one release of DVD that was like that. So it's like they have people selling these old releases of Little Shop of Horrors on Amazon, but I can't tell which one is the right one. And if I can't tell, the people selling them probably can't tell either. So chances are, even if I pick the right one, I'm not going to get the right one in the mail. So it's really like one of those things you can't really, unless I want to buy like 20 copies of it and hopefully one of them ends up being the one, it's not something I can really get on Amazon without fear of that kind of thing. I guess I'd have to search for it on eBay more than Amazon. But yeah. Next up, and maybe this is a little bit of a cheat, but the two were packaged together for a total of $20 at one point. And sad time when I discovered that I finally had enough money to buy them, and I went to buy them, I discovered they were no longer for sale. Um, this was something I added with the Amazon wishlist application thing that you can put on Chrome and other browsers and whatnot to add stuff from other websites onto Amazon. Space Ghost Coast to Coast Volumes 4 and 5 on DVD. Yes, in case you were unaware, because AdultSwimShop.com is no longer functioning and has gone out of business, as it were, they're no longer offering the volumes 4 and 5 of Space Ghost, which That was the only place you could find them. That was the only place you could buy them. It was the only place to get them. So basically, you know, like they're not probably going to sell them anywhere else. I emailed them about it actually, and I got a response saying check eBay, which tells me right there they have no plans for the future, no plans to release any of these DVDs that were, only available through that website. So if you're lucky enough to get those, hang on to them. They're going to become collector's items very fucking fast. It's one of those things where I'm sure because of how it was sold and the fact that there was only one way to buy them, there probably aren't that many copies in existence. So if you are lucky enough to find that anywhere on eBay or elsewhere, I hesitate to say that because, oh God, now I'm going to have to fight you guys for it. But, if you're lucky enough to find it anywhere, or if you have it, hold on to it, or pick it up for whatever the hell the price is, because it might not skyrocket really quickly, but we're already starting to see some ridiculous prices. I mean, I believe I saw Volume 4 marked on Amazon for like $75, which was just, give me a frickin' break, Anyways, the reason I really want those is because one of my favorite episodes, the one with Colonel O'Brien, it's called Fire Ant, is, I believe, on Volume 5. And, like I said, it's like pretty much my favorite episode of Space Ghost, Coast to Coast, ever. And I love that show. I have Volumes 1 through 3 on DVD. Like I said, I meant to pick them up. And when I finally had the money for it, I was like, I'm going to get it. And the week before, AdultSwimShop.com had shut down. So, yeah. But I felt like mentioning it because I had it on my Amazon wish list. And I still have it on there, even though there's no chance. There's no hope. Next up, it's not out yet, but the Indiana Jones Blu-ray collection. Who doesn't want that? I mean, hell yes, I believe is the appropriate response to the question of whether or not you want that particular item. I don't think that there's actually a possibility of anybody answering any other way, but if I'm wrong, just let me know. I honestly cannot believe that anybody would turn that down. No. Next up, Diablo 3. At $60, I can't really afford it. Just came out. I played the beta with some friends. It's a great game. I've heard a lot of bad things about like opening day jitters and stuff like that, and just there are some obvious points to it that it's like, why would you do that? Even one of my friends was saying that it's not gritty enough. Like the visual style is not gritty enough. Looks like they World of Warcraft it up. And of course, a one-player game. I don't know if it's necessarily always one player, obviously, but I mean it's traditionally a one-player game, and yet you have to play it online. But still, I mean, the gameplay, the way that the game is played, and just, I always loved Diablo. Well, not always. I loved it since my brother introduced me to it in the late 90s, early 2000s, maybe. Diablo 2 was my introduction, and I was floored. I got addicted really quickly, and when I played the beta for Diablo 3, it's like nothing really changed. The gameplay, everything that made it what it was before, is still there. And that's what I loved about it before, and that's what I love about it now. Eventually I'm going to pick it up. I don't know when. I don't know how. I don't know when I'm going to have the money for it. But suffice to say, I will be picking it up eventually. Alright, next up I got some DVDs that are out of print. First, Stuart Saves His Family. A lot of Paramount DVDs out of print that really shouldn't be and are now fetching collector's prices. Stewart saves his family based on the character of Stuart Smalley, played by Al Franken, uh, during the mid 90s on SNL, Saturday Night Live. Uh, Originally, I wasn't really a huge fan of the skit on SNL, but when I saw this movie, I was blown away. The movie is just fantastic. It's one of my favorite movies from when I was a kid. It's just a really great uh, comedy, and I love it. I mean, it's extremely memorable. I remember a lot of the scenes from that movie, and just, you know, I really like that movie. Sadly, apparently you can't get it for less than like $20 on Amazon right now. In fact, I think it's a little bit more than $20, which is just like, for a fucking DVD? Really? Next up, this one has been taken off shelves for a reason. It is called Medium Cool by, I think it's Axel Wexler, something like that. This is a really great uh, movie made in the 60s. In fact, I believe it was made in 1969, um, where they actually shot part of the movie during a riot. They actually had the actors go into the middle of an actual riot and shot them, acting in the middle of a riot. It's crazy. It's a really good movie with a lot of, obvious points to make. Obviously very artsy fartsy, but I mean, I was introduced to this I was introduced to this in a film class, obviously, and I was just like blown away. It was just really a fantastic movie. Sadly, because of the way that it was made and all that, Paramount gave them. It was during the whole new Hollywood era, right? And Paramount gave them the money up front to do the movie. So they did the movie, and they gave it to Paramount. Paramount didn't like it. They didn't want to put it out. They felt that their money had been wasted. And I believe they actually tried to get their money back through lawsuit or something like that, but eventually did release it, the movie. So ever since, it's been like they held a grudge, basically, towards this, because every release has been released for maybe like a month or two and then taken off store shelves, including the latest, which was the DVD. So if you think you're going to see this one on Blu-ray or Criterion Edition anytime soon, you might want to think twice. I hate to say it, but some of these studios really can be dicks, and I think that this is definitely one of those cases. Going to hold a grudge for greater than 40 years now? For fuck's sake, let it the fuck go. It's a fantastic film, and you need to fucking realize that. Don't run away from your history. Embrace it. I mean, sure, you made a mistake back then, but you need to step up and realize how fantastic and historically important this film is, and stop being fucking douchebags about it. Rant over. That one right now on Amazon is over $60 for that, and for good reason, very hard to find. Next up, Deadwood, the HBO miniseries on Blu-ray, the entire series. They've had decent sales on this recently. Just last week or so, they had it at like $73, which is probably the lowest price I've ever seen it at. For 3 seasons of a HBO series, especially one this good, it makes sense. It's a fair price. At the same time, I can't exactly afford to be flopping down $70+ on something like that. And when I can, I usually want to spend it like on a bunch of, smaller things because I'd rather have more awesome than to just have one thing that's awesome. Does anyone else think like that? It's just like, I have money, so I'm going to spend it wisely and get the cheapest shit I can that's awesome, you know? Instead of spending it all on one good thing, you want to spend it on cheaper stuff. I don't know. I'm like that. Is anybody else a cheapskate? I think I've already said I'm a cheapskate in this video, so what the hell? Um, but yeah, I want that Blu-ray set. I haven't even seen the entire series or anything. I saw the first 2 episodes and I'm convinced that this is awesome. Actually, I think I saw the first 3 episodes, 3 or 4, something like that. And yeah, convinced that it's awesome and that I need to see the whole thing and need to get it on Blu-ray and own it. Anyways, next up, another one that I discovered through a film class, and it's just hilarious, amazing movie. Jim Jarmusch's Night on Earth. A lot of interesting stars. Roberto Benigni. I completely always mispronounce his name, and I apologize. Winona Ryder. A lot of fantastic actors in this. Night on Earth. Not available on Blu-ray yet. I keep waiting and hoping that Criterion is going to release it on Blu-ray because, well, they did a DVD. Why aren't they doing the Blu-ray? But, yeah, I love this movie. I know a lot of people who love this movie. It's kind of become a cult classic. I don't understand why they wouldn't want to re-release a cult classic on Blu-ray when there's a huge freaking market for it, but maybe I'm just insane or something. I don't know. It's just one of the best movies I've ever seen, probably. About 5 different people in 5 different parts of the world at the same time driving cabs and their experiences driving cabs. So you got one in LA, one in New York, and then 3 in Europe somewhere. I can't even remember all the places because I'm an American. I haven't seen that movie in a year or 2 as well, so you'll have to forgive me for having forgotten some of those details. Us Americans and our maps intelligence. Okay, so last but not least, Night of the Hunter on Blu-ray. Another one I discovered through film class. I actually had somebody in the class that I was in who was a huge fan of like these really crappy, cheesy 80s movies and all that kind of stuff. Granted, this is like a level 100 course, so you're not going to get the brightest people in the world, but it just really egged me, really got on my nerves that here's this guy who's just constantly saying that all these 80s movies are the pinnacle of art in film, basically. I swear. It was almost like he was a troll, but he wasn't a troll. You could tell he was serious, and that was what got me. But no. He said, after seeing Night of the Hunter, that it was the most boring thing he'd ever seen. You kidding me? Night of the Hunter is one of the most amazing movies out there. It's probably one of the best Mitchum movies out there as well, in my humble opinion. But yeah, it's just me. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff on there based on what I've seen in film class and loved, and a lot of the stuff they show in film class is also stuff that's very hard to find for a low price because it's artsy fartsy and it's aimed at a particular audience, and so you can't really find a decent price on it because they don't sell too many of those, so they have to, make some kind of a profit on them. I understand that. Of course I do. I'm just a cheapskate, and I don't always have a lot of money on me to spend on stuff like that. Maybe someday I will, but my fear is that by the time I will, they'll all be out of print and I'll be paying even more for them than I should be because I had to wait. But if that's the way it goes, I guess that's just the way it goes. Anyways, that would be my top 10. Maybe it's actually 11 considering it's Space Ghost Coast to Coast Volumes 4 and 5. But yeah, that would be my top 10 Amazon wishlist items that I really want more than anything else on my Amazon wishlist. But being that I'm a cheapskate, I'll probably go for the cheapest stuff first. So, let's see. Little Shop of Horrors is probably the cheapest thing on there, but depending on, I'd have to look for it on eBay. It's just. But anyways, there's my response, my video response to Planet Bierwagen's contest. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. Peace. That wasn't even good at all. I didn't like any of that.